So, hi everyone. This is Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket, as I always say, with Norman Kochnick. I've had an extra shave today. I'm joined by none other than Banstead Boy, which he's actually not written in that manner today. He's written as Reg Vernon or Richard Vernon.
Hi, guys.
The father, of course, of Chris Vernon, who is maybe here today, we're not sure. Munchie said he might be turning up. Even Nalakshi would come. Apana might be coming. There might be quite a few. David Gravy might be a bit late, but he's due on as well. So, yes, it's going to be action. Welcome, Reg.
Yeah, thank you, Norman. Good to speak to you. It's a business end of the tournament, isn't it?
Well, the truth is in the pudding, or the proof is in the pudding, I should say. It's going to be one of those days where we're going to see really what's going on. England's form in the last match got beaten by South Africa. I'm scratching my head at that one. I don't quite know what happened in that match.
Well, it was a tight game, wasn't it? It went down to, I don't know how much you saw, but 14 off the last over, first ball, Wokes got caught a really smart catch right on the boundary. Would have gone well over for 6. And Nokia took a really smart catch. Now, if that was 6, that would have been 8 needed or 5 balls. Who knows? But it was a great game. This World Cup has not had so many great games, has it? It'd be good.
But okay, but you have to try to explain to me the logic. Now, of course, we're here today to talk about the semi-final between England and New Zealand. Tomorrow we will have the so-called other semi-final, which is between, of course, Australia and Pakistan. That are now, as you probably know,
Go
they're
Aussies.
playing.
Aussies. Never thought I'd ever say that. Never thought I'd ever say that. I'll be cheering on the Aussies, Norman.
Well, I mean, the reality is that Australia are. I'm still a bit perplexed. How could England smash Australia, right, as they did by 10 wickets? Then Australia, or I think prior to that, Australia beat South Africa, albeit not comprehensively. They beat them. Then how could South Africa come out and beat England? If you look at those 3 matches in totality, how could one team thrash Australia, then that team Australia played, then Australia played South Africa and beat them quite reasonably, and then that team that got beaten there beats the side that beat Australia? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's 2020 cricket, Norman. The shorter form of the game levels the playing field up much more, doesn't it? And if this was a 10-over game, and I think the 10-10 competition is on after the 2020. I think it's on in the UAE just after this tournament. There's a T10 tournament, and you know that the sides in that are even closer, and that for want of a better word, the minnows will have more of a chance in that form of the game. It's just what it is. 2020 levels the playing field, doesn't it? And Rassie van der Dussen's a good player. He's a very good player. And, in this form, it needs just one player to have a day out, and that can be enough, can't it?
So you're saying that England didn't put the foot off the pedal a little bit, maybe?
Not deliberately, they wouldn't have done. I think subconsciously it's a different thing. And also with Jason Roy limping out like that would have not helped matters. That's a big miss, isn't it?
So what happened? He damaged his...
I think he's torn his calf muscle, Norman.
Torn his calf muscle. So he's out for the rest of the tournament, effectively.
Yeah, they've replaced him.
Who will come in to replace him?
James Vince has come into the squad to replace him.
Into the squad doesn't mean into the team necessarily.
No, I don't think he'll play. I think they'll move Bairstow up to open, which is fine. In fact, it's even more fine with the way New Zealand normally set up their game. They normally open with 2 seamers, and then have their third seamer come on for an over or 2. They usually bowl 6 overs of seam. Now that would suit Bairstow and Butler opening up. So whether they alter that, because Bairstow probably is going to open and put a spinner on him, because he's been out twice to spinners cheaply in the last couple of games. So, oh, good. Oh, here we go. Munchy, look at that.
Oh my God, what's going on here?
Hey guys, hello everyone.
Munchy,
I
look at you.
could do a few minutes
is
only.
that-
Sorry, Norman. Yeah,
Is that helmet actually on?
it's as part of the app that I use for the green screens. It's an app called Snap Camera. And I thought, oh, hang on, what are these other features? Because normally I just use the custom background, and I did a search for cricket, and I clicked this one because obviously you had the wonderful green and pleasant grounds in the background, and suddenly I'm staring at the camera with this helmet on me. So no, this is all part of the filter, which is brilliant. So I thought I'd have a bit of fun with that for a few minutes.
I'm not sure whether it's big
Hi,
enough for
Neela.
your head though.
It's just perched on top.
Nilakshi's joined us.
Yeah.
Hello, Nilakshi. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Looking forward to the game.
Yeah, just as I was coming on, you were talking about obviously Jason Roy's unfortunate injury.
Yeah.
And James Vince's replacement. Now, I wasn't sure. I'd have to check to see whether or not James Vince was on a reserve list to say. So if there was an injury, he would come in. But it does kind of prove that while Owen Morgan is captain, that Alex Hales doesn't have a chance. Because if you are going to replace a batsman like Jason Roy, Alex Hales would be the natural replacement. You want a big hitting opening batsman, brilliant fielder on the boundary, and that's what Alex Hales is, not James Vince.
I think Vince is being part of the travelling squad.
Yeah,
Munchie, the same way that they brought Topley in to replace
Tyrell
Mills when he was out. So he's already there. He's in the bubble. He's with the squad. And we've spoken about this numerous times here. Alex Hales will not play cricket for England while Owen Morgan's captain.
No,
not going to happen. Just won't
I know.
Rightly so.
I know David really likes James Vince. And yeah, the Big Bash League last year, he was top run scorer. I think he was, Norman. But it's just we've seen it when he's playing the county games and for England. He'll have a couple of great games, and then he'll go through a run of 20 or 30s, hit the ball beautifully through the covers, and then slips. And certainly with the quality of the bowling that the New Zealand's have with their swing bowling, and certainly the Pakistanis as well, if England are lucky enough to get through, then playing Vince would be a risk.
Yeah, I don't think he'll play. I don't think he'll play. I think they'll move Bairstow up to open.
Okay, Bairstow goes to opener, but who takes the other spot?
Bilbo.
Billings.
I think Bilbo comes in, doesn't he?
Who, sorry?
Bilbo.
Sam Billings.
Sam Billings.
Yeah.
Did you call him Bilbo?
Bilbo, that's what. Yes, that's his nickname.
Yeah. Or Posh Lad.
Okay.
I know him quite well. I'd say I know him fairly well. Sam Billings, good guy. I've known him since he was 10 years old. He played with Chris growing up through the age groups for Kent. So nice lad, very nice family, and a good player.
So probably what will happen is
Munchie, you got the name TFB, which will Tiny. What was it again? Tiny
fast bowler.
Fast bowler. That's right. You might have to add the word Jarvo. There's a bit of Jarvo about you today.
I don't know if you've seen it about the Jarvo, but he actually infiltrated the Japanese rugby team at the weekend as well. It's like, oh, really? I'm surprised this guy doesn't have a tag on his ankle so all security can see him coming. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised it's not more of a substantial fine hitting him now.
I don't know if he's getting money from his so-called comedic things, but I mean, providing he's not endangering anyone and there's no insults or anything, it's harmless. It's going to come down to how the authorities want to deal with it. In the Test match, when he came running on, he did actually barge into Bairstow. Probably didn't mean to do it deliberately, but something like that, you could potentially injure a player. I say potentially. It's obviously Bairstow is a pretty solid lad. But yeah.
But it's the copycat nature. I think Reggie and I have talked about this before. It's not so much that he's done it. The fact is that it just creates other people thinking, "Oh, I can do the same thing," and then that's where the problem starts and finishes.
Yeah. Well, you used to have the problem with the day-nighters, didn't you, Norman, with people getting drunk and then deciding, "Oh, it'd be good fun if I take my clothes off and streak across the pitch," until Andrew Simons then poleaxed one of them, and people then decided it wasn't a good idea. Yeah.
Well, it's not exactly something new. It's been going on for decades, but yeah, I think it's become less tolerated. Nalakshi, how are you feeling? No India? In fact, it feels a bit strange not having India somewhere in these semi-finals.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't feel good when India's not there. But yeah, I'm supporting England.
Yay!
Thank you, Neela. Yeah, I thought it was very telling of Ravi Shastri's interview before the game against Namibia, where he was saying how tired he felt after so long in the bubble. And then he said, when you think about the players themselves, not only have they been mentally challenged, they've been physically challenged as well. And I think it's really, people don't comprehend about how much stress it takes being in this bubble constantly. And I certainly feel for the Indian players that left the Test series in England to go straight to the IPL, then straight into the T20. You can see them, you can imagine why they were frazzled. And then certainly to have Pakistan and New Zealand as the first two games, it might have been different if they had Namibia and Scotland and Afghanistan as before they played the big teams, but coming straight into those big games, you can see that they were almost like, oh damn, we started the tournament too late, we're out. Yeah.
Oh look, but you can't. What's the word? You can't over dissect the timing of who they played when, because really they had to play them at some stage anyway.
Oh, indeed. But it's just But I feel for the guys. You spent all that time basically locked away in hotel rooms with the security checks or the health checks, etc. And it was telling that Ravi Shastri said this before the game, just to say, these players are frazzled. And I don't know how long a break they had before they then played New Zealand, the Test series and one days, etc.
Oh, they're straight into it as far as I can see. There's some very warming news, I think, well, for Pakistan in particular. Pakistan are in the semi-final, we know that, but they've gone through undefeated and very, very handsomely so. They've got Test series hitting their shores with both Australia now in, I think it's March, April, and then England not long after. It's going to be I'm very impressed with that. Obviously, all the so-called protocols for security have been passed. Well, it must have been improved, despite having Afghanistan on the doorstep. It seems to be well at hand, and I'm very happy about that, because no matter what Pakistan does, I'm actually contemplating going to Lahore. That'll be a great test to see. I'd love to see that. So, all right. On paper, results-wise, despite England's slight hiccup getting beat by South Africa, realistically, we should be seeing England versus Pakistan in the final. But you'll shake your head there.
Well, I think they're both close games. I think that the toss will matter.
Definitely.
And I would think that whoever bats second in both games will win. There you go. There's my prediction. Whoever bats second, whoever wins the toss will win, because I think they'll both elect to field first. And I think that both...
Sorry, field first, was it?
Yeah, I think both sides will win. Whoever wins the toss will field.
No, bowl.
And then bowl. Yeah, sorry, bowl first, and then
they're electing to chase, Norman.
Yeah.
No, don't say. They're taboo words. Nobody goes out to field first or chase second.
Oh, can I? Sorry.
Bowl and bat. You play cricket with a bat and a ball, not with your legs running to the boundary. It's not a game.
Okay.
Jesus.
What do they say? What do they say when the coin goes up and they call right? They say we'll field, don't they?
No, they don't.
They say bowl.
They'll bat or bowl.
Yeah, we just like winding Norman up. Yeah.
I want to go on field all day. I don't want to field at all. I want to get them out and get in the bat. Or bat first and get them out.
Okay, well, whoever wins the toss will elect to field. To bowl. And I think that both those sides will win the games. That's my prediction, because I think that all four teams are fairly closely matched. I think Pakistan come in good form, but they're a side that doesn't always keep their best form all the way through a tournament. They tend to be a little bit fluctuating, and they haven't done that. And the game where maybe Babar and Rizwan can't do it every game. The cricket history of 150 years of cricket tells you that even the greatest players in the world, even Don Bradman, didn't score 100 every time he batted.
Pretty close to it, though.
Yeah, pretty close to it. But so
yeah, 99.94, Reg. That's not very far away.
Yeah, but he didn't do 100 every time he batted, Norman. That's what I'm saying. If you look at his
but he got
scores,
99.94. I don't think it matters that he got.
No. So what I'm trying to get at is that Bubba and Rizwan might have a bad game in them or a low score in them, and that's rather.
Shoaib Malik got a big score. Asif Ali got a big score. They're not just the open.
But Norman, it's easier
Pakistan
to
are a
get
strong
a
side.
score when you're 100 for 1 off 10 overs coming into bat than when you're 10 for 2 coming into bat in the third over. It's a completely different game, and they might be put under a bit of pressure if that's the case. And then we'll see.
It's interesting how the Indian supporters are all going for Australia tomorrow, not Pakistan.
Who does Nilakshi want? Who are you supporting, Nilakshi?
Tomorrow.
Between who? Tomorrow?
Australia and Pakistan.
Australia.
See, there's something really fishy about that.
No, it's not.
You know,
it's just rivalry. Yeah.
But I got told by many people when I said I want, say, I don't know, England to win against New Zealand. They go, but hang on a minute, New Zealand's your neighbouring country. Why aren't you going for New Zealand? I said, well, Pakistan's your neighbouring country, not going for them. So why are you telling me to go for New Zealand?
Pakistan, Australia would be wanting Pakistan to win. Yeah. It's just the natural rivalries, England, Australia.
I'd like Australia to win purely because I think we've got more chance of beating Australia. But more importantly, if we're going to win a world title, a world tournament, I'd love to beat Australia to do it.
Then what is New Zealand?
Oh, say again, didn't catch
that.
What if New Zealand beats England today?
Which are very capable of doing.
I'd be supporting New Zealand.
New Zealand have a couple of very good batsmen and some good bowlers. I think the English spin attack is better than New Zealand's. Losing Tyrell Mills was a big loss for England's pace attack, and certainly losing Jason Roy batting. But we've got batting-wise, you've got Butler, Bairstow, Milan, Morgan, Billings, Livingston, Ali. That's still a very strong batting lineup. And as Reg was saying, I think it will come down to that toss. Certainly, if there is dew, it does make it more difficult to bowl.
So here we have this question about the whole scenario about Vince coming in and Billings. So you said that Billings should come in, correct?
He'll probably come in, yeah.
I mean, Davey Willie's an option. Got to be honest, Davey Willie's definitely an option to come in. He can smack it and gives them an extra bowling option.
Hey, Naresh.
Hi, Naresh.
Hi, Naresh.
Hi, hello, everyone. Hello. The full house.
We've got a full house. Well, it's the semi-final, deserves a full house. And
but certainly, Ribu, I would agree. England's ruthless approach will continue. This was the approach that Owen Morgan likes in his captaincy. This is what he adopted with KKR. It will be all guns blazing.
Munchie, you claiming Stake to open instead of Jason Roy, huh?
Oh, I could do that, yeah.
Munchie, one that's not selected to bat. Look at him.
Yeah, I'm ready. I said there won't be a lot of running going on, but it certainly be lots of boundaries. Yeah.
Did you see that? Just an aside, women's cricket, Bangladesh beats Zimbabwe convincingly. The girl I have a lot to do with, Ramana Ahmed, got her team won very convincingly. That's just come up. It's good to see. I've spoken to Nilakshi Sharma, not Nilakshi Sharma, Nilakshi De Silva. Nilakshi Sharma's here. Nilakshi De Silva from Sri Lanka and Kavish the other day. They're off to Zimbabwe. What a horrible spot to play a women's qualifier. I'm sorry. Zimbabwe. It's fraught with issues. Anyway, won't go there. All right.
Yeah, lovely country, Norman. It's beautiful there. I've been to Zimbabwe. Well, yeah, and it's a beautiful place. But, you know,
I'm not saying it's not beautiful. I'm just saying that.
I agree with you. It's just politically, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, there is an issue with safety there. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
All right. So, Naresh, I want to know what you're feeling. Are you in pain because of the way India just vanished? Poof, they're gone.
Okay, just to be very realistic about it, we lost out when we lost to New Zealand.
Right.
Yes, Pakistan game is an emotionally charged game, but when it comes to the mathematics of net run rate, we lost out in the game against New Zealand. 110 was a very low total. New Zealand chasing it in 14 and a half overs. It's a huge net run rate to catch up. By that time, Pakistan was 3 games up. Afghanistan was 2 games up. They had beaten Namibia and Scotland with a huge margin. So, and New Zealand is a very, very consistent side. Honestly, we cannot be depending on other results in such a huge event like a World Cup. So we lost out last Sunday itself. But yeah, you could see the difference of how the openers should have approached what we saw in the remaining 3 games. Even if one would have clicked in a game against New Zealand or Pakistan, we could have had a different result, or we would have been competing. But yeah, we lost out in the second game itself.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to come back from that. We're relying on teams like Afghanistan to beat, who were they meant to be beating? Afghanistan meant to beat.
I just wanted to revert. Suman says, yes, we ended up with the best net run rate, but at the end of New Zealand game, we were way behind.
Yeah, but the run rate by that time was irrelevant, wasn't it? You could go out and stuff Namibia and Scotland, but it didn't matter. It was gone. Naresh is right. The game's 2 losses and you're struggling.
Yeah, and big games.
Very frustrating.
Yeah, big games, and you're expected to do well against Scotland, Namibia, with due respect to them. But we lost out on the big game, and New Zealand one hurt us the most.
I think what certainly looking at the Scottish and Namibian teams, and it was interesting listening to the interviews and looking at some of the footage afterwards. Yes, and the players would say, yeah, we were beaten soundly by all the teams that we played. But after the games, there was a great sense of camaraderie, and you could see a lot of the players talking amongst themselves, and certainly the Indian and the Pakistani players were talking to the Scottish and Namibians, and obviously they were talking about tactics and how things were taking place. I think Norman posted something about the Pakistanis were sharing Harris Ralph's birthday cake with the Scottish players. So although people will say, why do we need these associate countries in the tournament, because they just get beaten all the time? As an associate country, to play against the likes of India and Pakistan and England in a major tournament it's the top of their game. It's the pinnacle that they can reach. But each time they play against these teams, they will learn and they will get better from it.
Yeah.
So this game's is it in Dubai? It isn't in Dubai.
No, it's Abu Dhabi. This game is Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
But then the other semi-final is in Dubai.
Yeah. This is the last one, and then a second semi-final and final in Dubai.
Yeah.
So can someone explain to me why they played this in Abu Dhabi and didn't play it in Dubai?
Probably just trying to spread the games around.
Yeah,
but it gives a bit of an advantage, doesn't it? Give it a bit of an advantage over the other 2 semi-finals because they're able to be on the ground.
Normal, because all the sides would have played in all the venues several times, wouldn't they? England have definitely played in Dubai at least twice. Yeah. And so would the other sides. So they do know the conditions. I've heard that the pitch today is going to be in the middle of the square in Abu Dhabi, so there's no short boundary. The boundaries are an even weight either side, which will help even it out. So no bowler's going to be particularly targeted to any particular side. And I think it's going to be one of the better batting tracks that they've got there. It's pitch number 7, I read, which has been used twice before, including, I think they said, the India-Afghanistan wicket, which India got 214 on. So hopefully it'll be a flat deck and we can see some runs. I think it makes it better for England if the wicket's flatter. I think that'll help England more than New Zealand. That's just my view of it. I think we've got more flat track bullies than New Zealand have.
Which is interesting, looking at the question that coding. Oh, thanks, Norman. Yeah, Guptill versus Buttler. Obviously, I'm going to be slightly biased and say Buttler. I think Guptill has some weaknesses against spin bowling.
There's no comparison. You just can't. The Buttler's streets ahead of Guptill.
Yeah, but Guptill's record, come on, is pretty damn fantastic.
Oh, it's good. I'm not saying I'm not saying Guptill's rubbish, but the question is Guptill or Buttler. Who would you have in your team? You'd have Buttler every single time.
Yeah, Butler's been playing out of his skin.
Buttler averages 120 in this World Cup. He's scored
Amazing.
240 runs at 120.
Mm-hmm. And what happened before this World Cup? He went home and had a break.
Yeah.
So it just shows you, which goes back to the comeback Ravi Shastri was making. Yeah, Butler was able to refresh, recharge, spend some time with the family, missed out on some England games, missed out on the IPL, but then came into the World Cup fresh.
Now, I haven't got a cricket ball, white or red, but I have got a Ferrero Rocher here, and I'm very tempted to throw it at Munchie and hit him in the helmet.
I tell you what, Norman, it wouldn't go near his tail. It would go straight in his big mouth and he'd chocolate.
In fact, your helmet, if turn sideways for a minute, turn sideways. You lack the back of the helmet. What's going on there? It's a rather unusual helmet.
Hey, it's blame the filter.
Oh, good. So look, I'm getting nervous now.
Norman, you don't need chocolate either, my friend. You definitely don't need any chocolate.
So when did the ambassador visit, Norman?
What?
When did the ambassador visit?
Frere Rocher.
I'm going in a few minutes, Tim. Come on, bit of fun.
It came in my crystal ball. It landed in here. All right. Now.
What are your predictions?
Go on.
Sorry, Neela?
Your predictions.
All right. Let's start with Naresh. What's your predictions today?
Today, England. Yeah.
Tomorrow the world?
No,
is that what you're going to say? Today England, tomorrow the world? Or?
It's going to be interesting if, obviously Besto will come up because Roy is not there. So, and mostly Sam Billings, Sam Billings in the middle. But I think England would maybe consider Willie because, with Tamil Mills not available, Mark Wood was quite expensive, to be fair, just his one game. Mm-hmm. But if they have to keep the same kind of a variety in bowling, they should look at Willie.
Yeah, good point.
I don't think
and he bats too. Willie's nice to get he's a batter as well. So
it's just that Morgan is nothing if not a loyal and predictable type of captain in the way that he picks his sides and he wants his sides to approach it. And I don't think that Willie quite fits in with Morgan's game plan, as it were. I just think that he will play Billings. I
think Sam will play. I agree with Naresh, but I also agree with Naresh that to play Willie ahead of Wood in your bowling lineup.
Don't think he'll do that either.
No, but I think that's my
Willie's quite powerful, actually. Oh, sorry, we're doing that. Yeah. So I got mixed up.
Yeah, we're not talking about your shenanigans again.
Okay.
Munchie, can you take that bloody helmet off? There's something very Java-like.
My only reason, Reggie, the reason I'm saying it is Abu Dhabi, as we have been discussing, the pitch is flatter, the runs come much easier compared to Dubai. Ball comes up well. Mark Wood is not a bowler who will get in variety. He is full pace. And I think Martin Guptill will actually enjoy playing Mark Wood.
So you're right, Naresh, yeah.
Although,
I think Willie opening does swing the ball quite prodigiously, even with the white ball.
Aditya Rai, what the hell are you talking about? How can both teams lose? Explain to me mathematically how two teams can lose playing against each other. Tell me. Gosh, confusing.
Oh, don't that route. Luckily, we don't have the boundary count.
Yeah.
Oh.
If England go down that route with, as you're saying, Naresh, with David Willey, that means they'd have to completely change their whole modus operandi of the whole World Cup, because what they've been doing is they've been going with Moeen Ali to open with Wokes. If Willie comes in, you're going to say they're going to have to open with him, the bowling. Which puts
Morgan's
down.
Been flexible. Yeah, he's opened with Adil Rashid as well. Yeah,
I don't see him go. David Willey is predominantly an 84-mile-an-hour bowler, which is more of the same. Whereas Mark Wood, they view him coming on in the middle overs, bowling at 92 miles an hour, and just having a bit of pace.
But Mark's done it before, and I know he's bowled brilliantly well. But I agree with Naresh. But we have the same thing. The harder that ball gets bowled, then you get edges, the harder that ball's going to come off the bat. And if there's no real movement in the pitch, so no reverse swing or anything, it's going to be pretty much straight up and down. And if that deck is as flat as people are talking about it, I agree with Naresh. I think it's a good call to bring Willie in. Whether they do or not, it's another matter.
We've got to remember with Mark.
So Tim Wilton-Davies reckons that Milan might open.
No, I think that's something interesting. And Milan is a steady opener, and then you could let Butler loose. Although it detracts then from England's attacking side, because Milan tends to start slowly. It's Tim's next comment that did make me smile, though. Yeah,
I can't read
Who's
that.
really got wood? Oh God, that's bad.
Read that. Sorry, I've got my glass. I'm too old.
Yeah.
Can't see it.
Yeah, Bairstow is good against spinners. There's none about that.
Although he's got out twice, he got a golden, and then he got a second baller against the two spinners last twice he's played against them, didn't he? Sri Lanka and last game against Africa both sorted him out, first and second ball. So,
James, if England don't win today, I don't think Morgan's failed. No, we've discussed this before. We can speak about getting to the semi-finals, but when it comes to T20, and Reg was talking about this early on, the game is so quick. You only needed 2 or 3 bad overs, and the game's gone. I mean, yeah, look at the India performances against Pakistan and New Zealand. Really, that first opening over from Shahid Afridi, and the game was gone. Rohit and Rahul gone very quickly. So I don't think if England don't win it, it's not a failure. No. I think Morgan's achievement was to win the one-day World Cup. That's the thing. Yeah.
And he's
whether
got
you want to, if you want to do by boundaries or not, but yeah,
hasn't he?
Let's take a step back from the semi for a moment and look at the sides that haven't made it. India, very disappointing. Okay, West Indies, particularly disappointing. South Africa came home strongly, but generally pretty weak. Then, of course, Bangladesh were horrible, not even winning a game. Sri Lanka were admirable, but still below par. And of course, Namibia and Scotland were pretty well. Namibia were reasonable. Scotland were very ordinary. But the one that I'm only a big positive tick to of the teams that didn't make the semis is definitely Afghanistan. They were always in the hunt, weren't they?
But they got hammered by India and New Zealand when it mattered, didn't they? They weren't in either of those games particularly, were they? New Zealand did a very professional job on them, and India absolutely hammered them. So there's still a way away, I think, Norman.
Well, I know. You can't say they're way away. They're very much up there. They're a top 10 team. I truly think, especially in all formats. I think they are. Whether they got the depth to continue being so, I don't know, but you've got to take your hat off to Rashid Khan and Mujib were fantastic. They didn't have
the batting depth, and they didn't have the quick bowling. But when you've got Mujib, Rashid, Nabi as spin bowlers, top. Yeah, sorry, Neela.
No, actually, were you saying something?
Sorry?
Did you say something? How come
No,
you
I
look,
said
how come you look more beautiful every day?
Nabi is a good
How come you
batter.
look more beautiful every day, Nilakshi? And as Reg said, very, very nasty before the show started, that I put more weight on. Well, I can't help it.
But no, but Nilakshi is correct. Nabi is also a very useful bat, and same with Rashid. He can come in and throw the bat at the end. So it's Afghanistan. I think a lot of credit to them to get as far, and certainly when it comes to the tournaments around the world, Rashid Khan is in the top 3 picks in each team. Yeah. I'm going to have to go in. I have to go in a minute anyway, Norman. Sorry, but it's been a pleasure.
Your female fan club's here. Your Sunday's saying you look good.
Yeah. I just want coding. You're talking about the stats there for Martin Guptill and Jos Buttler. Let's go back a couple of games to that Sri Lanka game and how Jos Buttler played that game. England, he played it steady. He knew what was happening with the pitch. Just played it sensibly, and then explosive at the end. I don't think Guptill's got that in his game. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, you put the stats out there in terms of the big striking, the number of sixes, etc. But you talk to people, who would you have in your side, Guptill or Buttler? And you'd always pick Buttler on that. But I wish everyone a great afternoon. I hope the game goes well. Just looking forward to a good game. Obviously, I would like England to win, but if they don't, then let's make sure it's a good close game and goes down to the last ball. So,
Thank you,
anyway,
Munchie.
good to see you, everyone.
Here's Munchie.
AKA Munchie, of course, is AKA that
Marcus
tiny fast bowler, or Jarvo. He looked like Jarvo. Seriously, that was a Jarvo looked like.
Yeah.
Did we actually get invaded? What's the term for it? Did we get what's the term we're looking for?
Photo bombed?
Yeah, sorry.
Is it photo bombed?
Photo bombed or video bombed by a Jarvo? Then I'm going to have to look back at my video recovery there and see what's going on. All right, so I should say that I did promise to be in UAE for the balance of the tournament. I thought better of it because, quite frankly, India are not there, and I want to have a focus on them. Pakistan. I'm actually going to be tomorrow night. I'm going into the Pakistani community here in Sydney. I've been invited to be at an event at a restaurant near Auburn, which is out west. I think it's Himalayan or something it's called. I'm going to be surrounded by Pakistani fanatics.
Yeah, that's excellent.
And so I thought I'd do that, something different. So I'm doing that tomorrow. I've been invited by, there is a connection. Of course, I told Harris Ralph, and a few of his mentors, including myself, will be together tomorrow because, even though they're playing Australia, I've got a soft spot for Harris, being someone who played in Sydney, who played for the SCG11. He bowled as Shapali Wirakoti. Shapali handled him, would you believe, very well. Not bad to be facing 150 clicks.
Yeah.
Yes, she did. So Tim Wilton Davies, any chance of David Willey offering something different? I think there could be something there. They might surprise us all by bringing him in. Terence Aldrin has said Rowett and Dravid combo will bring smiles back on the Indian fans. Well, I think so. I think that although Shastri and Kohli can't be knocked either.
They've got to drop Kohli. That's what they've got to do. They won't want to, and it's going to be difficult. But he shouldn't be in the 2020 side. I know he's not going to be.
The team has been announced. At least what I recollect, 5 of them are rested because of the test matches after this. So Kohli, Jadeja, Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, and one more, I'm not getting the name, are rested. Hardik Pandya, Varun Chakravarti, you can say they are dropped. And the top performers of the IPL are in. Ruturaj Gaikwad, Harshal Patel.
So much sense, Naresh. If they'd done that for this World Cup, I think it might be slightly different. If they'd taken a more pragmatic view of their side, I
totally agree.
That's my.
Hardik Pandya should never have been selected. Period.
Even
Gaikwad?
No, I said even the mystery bowler, the Varun Chakravarti, he shouldn't have played.
Exactly.
Ashwin continues in the side. Ashwin is playing T20. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is playing the T20 series against New Zealand. Deepak Chahar comes in. Shreyas Iyer comes in. Rohit Sharma captain, KL Rahul vice captain. And I think, it's just 11 months to the next World Cup. How will they make it very consistent? They cannot keep changing and saying experimenting. I think we need a stable side of 15 boys who continue to play. Yes, we may lose few games, but we need to get this unit together, at least for focusing on the World Cup. And obviously a different set of players focusing on the Test cricket because there is an ongoing Test championship happening. So I think that is where they'll have to now balance out because, this year's calendar, you can put some blame on that also on how it went around. But we need to strike that balance now because it's still not clear that, all the tours will go off fine and normal. Anything can happen anytime. You may have to shift some dates. You may have to call off some games. And then, these things need to be factored in before you decide on who plays which format.
So have India left Abu Dhabi? UAE? Are they headed back already?
I think last night they came back. I think so. They were to leave the next day. Yesterday, the team got announced for the T20 series against New Zealand, and there is India A team that will go to South Africa.
So when you say the T20 series against New Zealand, there's also a Test series.
Yeah, that team is not
following.
yet announced. Yeah, that's not announced yet. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, in the case of Australia versus England, a large number of the Test players, the non-IPL, the non-World Cup players, are already sunning it up on the Gold Coast, such as good old Joe Root and Stokes and quite a few others, aren't they? Like Rory Burns, Anderson Broad, they're all there.
Hamid, yeah.
So there's quite a few that are there already, which is a big advantage for those players, to be honest with you. They've got a fair bit of time. On the state level, a guy called Boland is playing well. He played for Australia, I think, one day match. He's coming into contention. Jai Richardson took, I think, almost, whether it was 3 or 5 wickets today. There's been a bit of bowling success in Australia, but Khawaja is the one that is pushing for selection, I think, for a Test berth, which would be great.
Have you
And
thought that today could be Ian Morgan's last game?
What, this World Cup?
No, I think he'll retire. I think if England lose or win the final, I think that'll be it. I think he'll call it quits in his career.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Very good in fighting and execution. So I don't think so. They will drop him very easily.
But Reggie, in case he wins the World Cup, he will be staying till the next one, right? Because it's just 11 months.
I don't think he will. I mean, he might do. I haven't heard. This is my own take on it. I think Munchie agrees. I think we spoke with Munchie before as well. I think that he would be the first player in history to hold both 50 and 20 over trophies as captain. And he was debatable whether he was going to stay on for this World Cup after 2019. He had to make a decision. He announced it about a month after the World Cup final, whether he was actually going to stay on. He hasn't played any other cricket at all competitively. He plays just the 20 overs in the IPL and whatever world tournaments at 20. He doesn't play 50 over or Test cricket. He's got some back problems, and I just think that what a time to go out after winning it. If he was holding both 50 and 20 over trophies, I think that would be a very, very good time to bow out. And if he loses today, I think he's a very quiet sort of guy. He comes up, he's not quite an interview when he's been speaking, but he's very measured. But generally speaking, he's a quiet sort of man. He doesn't shout and scream. He's very relaxed. He's very calm, isn't he, about everything he does. And
he obviously also made the final of the IPL too.
Well, he's a brilliant captain. I mean, he dragged KKL up, didn't he? It's not by his own weight of runs, of course. It's just that he's got an influence. There are captains who do that. There are just the people who have a knack. Mike Brearley famously was like that, wasn't he? I think Steve Waugh, you could say, was a guy who just seemed to bring people up and with him and loved him. People would die for Steve Waugh, wouldn't they, Norman? And they'd die for Ian Morgan. You know, he has that. There's something about these characters. You know, Imran Khan. There you go. There's another guy. Every Pakistan guy would have absolutely died in battle with Imran Khan, wouldn't they?
You probably should include Dhoni there as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do. I think MS Dhoni, absolutely. So they're a fairly rare breed, these guys, and it comes from a loyalty that goes back to dressing room, doesn't it? It goes back to the dressing room. Obviously, we don't know what goes on in the dressing room, but something these captains do.
There must have been some dissension, I'm sorry, between Kohli and Ashwin. I would argue that the body language I saw, even going back to the Test series in England, I think I told you that at the time, Reg, when I saw them in the Lord's dressing room, the way that he was standing at the door, arms folded, he had a disdain on his face. That's Ashwin I'm talking about. Kohli's not liked by all the players. There's no doubt. And when I say not liked, there's some clashes. he is liked, but there's some clashes.
What Naresh, what does the Indian press say anything about Ashwin and Kohli? Is there animosity between
No,
them?
there is nothing on this. No. There is nothing on this. But yeah, you keep hearing different stories on what could have been the reason behind Virat and Shastri. Because if it was workload related, you know, you need to first exit IPL, then decide on international T20. But otherwise, there is nothing as far as. But there was some in between some time back when the team came back from England on some senior players making some complaint. But there is nothing. I think BCCI then came out saying that there was nothing. These are just rumors. But yeah, you can feel for Ash. You do feel for Ashwin on what has happened. But in the end. I think Shastri and Kohli, we have to compliment them for the test side India has been able to build and how they've been able to compete around. Yes, we haven't won an ICC trophy, but I think as a test, I think Shastri's success has been building this test team.
Yeah.
Just a quick couple of things. Arun Singh is saying.
Does not keeper.
Go ahead, Lakshmi. Go, you speak.
No, I said the selection of a player doesn't only depends upon the skipper and the head coach. It also depends upon the selectors. So I think there's something wrong between the selector and Ashwin.
Okay, it wouldn't work like that in England. They'll actually in England the selectors give the captain and the coach, I guess, a squad, but the playing side that goes on the field is selected by the England captain. And I think the Australian captain would have that same power, but I know it works differently certainly in South Africa, it works differently. We all know that. I guess in India it might work slightly differently well, but certainly not the England. The England captain, Owen Morgan today will take on to that park the side he wants, not the side that anyone else has told him. And guarantee it'll be his team.
But that's only an England thing. That's not other countries.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought Australia would be the same, though, wouldn't the Australian?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, what happens, Reggie? Okay, the selectors, if you go to see, have some kind of a full-time role because they have to go around looking at what's happening with the talent, especially at the A division games and all. So they have a set of players they have in mind.
Yeah.
And then when they get together to announce the selection, then is when the captain is coming in. So captain has a say, but you have those set of players, more or less you can say 80% of the side is known. And then, there is debate on one or two players, and that is where the captain gets a say. And then probably, he gets to get his team in the end. In the end, it's a concurrence, but captain does have a say in the Indian setup also at the last stage.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't work that way in South Africa, does it? We know that certainly they are told who's going to play. The captain is just told who the side is, which is very strange. Very strange.
Okay, so Arun Singh's asking me will I be heading to the Gabba? No, because Queensland is still a state where someone from New South Wales, which I'm from, has to go for a 2-week quarantine. I'm not going to do that within my own country. I'm steadfastly not doing that. So that's out of the question. So I'm not going to the first test, but I will certainly go to the Sydney and Melbourne tests and wherever the last test will be, Adelaide as well, and wherever the last test, where we're hearing what's meant to be Perth, but it may well be Hobart because of Perth's draconian border restrictions. Of course, Queensland are opening up their border, would you believe, after the test, which is just so annoying. Very, very annoying. The other thing was about my involvement with I'm traveling to the UAE. I mentioned it before. I'm being honest with you, because India are not there. I was going to go if India were involved with the finals, but they're not. So I'm not going. But I'm going to enjoy Indian and Pakistani groups here, as I said, tomorrow Pakistani groups. And we'll see who turns up for the final. But no one, I mean, most of the Indian supporters are going for Australia versus Pakistan, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. I would like to see some Indian support for Pakistan. They deserve it. They've played a very honest, genuine tour. This World Cup's been fantastic for them.
But it's not going to happen, Norman, is it? It's not going to happen. There's rivalries there. It's like saying to, in England, support France in rugby. It just would not happen. Well, not very often anyway.
Okay, this is where we've already talked about this, but Tim Wilton Davies is totally right. We've all said this. The toss will be a major decider. There's no doubt whoever wins will be batting second.
I think if England bat second, they'll win. I think if New Zealand bat second, England can still win, but they're going to have a really good day out. And it would come down to the power play. If England bat first, they've got to have a good power play, I think, against the New Zealand seamers. And let's face it, Bolt, Southey and Milne are pretty tasty. But we can do it. We've got the people to do it. It's going to be tough if New Zealand bats second, I think.
Yeah. Look, and I'm going to say this quite heavily. I still don't think New Zealand deserved to be in the semi-finals. I don't think they were out and out a good enough side to make it. I don't think they played that well. Honestly, they were towed up by Pakistan, something horrid. Okay, they beat India, yes, but they've been very ordinary for most of the tournament. Whereas England have been fantastic, except for the last match where they slipped up with South Africa, and Pakistan have been flawless. I don't think.
No, you're unfair. I think you're being unfair to New Zealand. I think they're professional. They get the job done. They're an unsung side. They don't shout loud, do they? They do it quietly and professionally, and they keep doing it. They just keep doing it. They're very. I disagree. I think they're a really solid outfit, and they worry me. They might well beat us today.
Well, imagine if they do. Holy smoke!
Well,
they're into another final.
They deserve to, won't they? Because we won't give it away to them. I'm sure they'll if they win, whoever wins the tournament deserves to win it. That's for sure.
They're coming with the best economy rate in this World Cup, and it's Sodhi and Santner would play a very important role today, because if English batsmen can be stopped by these two spinners, I think then New Zealand have a upper hand. That will, because the approach of the English batters is more or less the same. They all are attacking. They want to go and score as much as possible, and that is where Sodhi and Santner will play an important role on how they can contain it, and obviously in that containment even get wickets.
Yeah. I'm very much anti-Santner. I don't think much of him.
The New Zealand bowlers, they shouldn't try to contain them. I think they should take more wickets in the power play, because and also they should take the pace of the ball, because Indian batters they like more pace and they make hit the boundaries.
Yeah, I agree. I think they will try and do that. I think they will definitely try and take the pace off the ball. It's whether they stick to their same game plan of bowling the three seamers in the first 6 overs. I think that England won't do that. I think England will go with the spinner up front. And if they go with the first 6 overs of seam, that could help England. We could get off to a nice, good start if wicket's flat. But Bolt and Southey are quality, aren't they? They've been quality for at least 10 years. I don't know how long they've been playing. Well, Southey's been playing since 1998, isn't he? I think it's stupid. Is it nearly as old as the West Indies? I'm joking. It's a quality. They're quality. Bolt and Southey are quality bowlers all around the world, wherever they play, and we need to overcome them if we're going to win.
You see, it's funny because Bolt was a little disappointing for Mumbai Indians. He wasn't at his best, was he? In that.
Do you know his economy rate for this tournament, Norman? He's going at 5.34, I think I read.
That's pretty good.
And that's got to be up there with the best. He's the best seamer. He's taken the most wickets. He's taken 11 wickets at 5.34, I think, in the tournament. He's just a quality bloke, isn't he?
Absolutely. What about Milne?
Quick, isn't he? But he can go. He could go the distance today, hopefully.
And they lost Lockie Ferguson, didn't they, in the warm-up to this, or the stages up to this as well.
Yeah, and they played Seifert first game and then got Milne in, didn't they? I think that's the same argument, isn't it? With South Africa do it and England with Wood. They like, in the middle overs, they like having someone to come in and be able to bowl, hopefully at 90 plus miles an hour, just to change it up a bit in those mid overs, to save sides getting away. That's what they try and do. It doesn't always work. I think Mark Wood, just in his defence, he was the man in possession before he got injured, and he was short of a game. That was his first game back, the last game against South Africa. So, you know, anyone like you would know, Norman, being a super good bowler like you are, that sometimes you need a game or two just to get yourself back into the swing of things, don't you? You know, you just need to.
Oh, I was right on top of from the first ball. I didn't need any more.
Steaming in, Norman. Did you see Nokia in the last game, the South Africa game? I like a stat, Norman.
Hang on, Nokia. Nokia's a phone. That's not his name. It's Norjay.
Nokia.
Nokia's a phone. Nokia's a phone. Samsung, Nokia.
Guns, okay. Norman. It's Nokia. Nokia bowled the fastest over delivered in the World Cup in the World 2020.
Baram Irani. Is it Nokia or Norjay?
Nokia.
I say Nokia.
Nokia.
Nokia's a phone.
That's the way it's pronounced.
Hi, Reg.
Hi, mate. So you're right. Yeah, he bowled
we lose
the fastest
beauty and
over.
we lose beauty and then we get Baram.
Yes, the beauty's gone down a bit. Norman, I need to go. I'm afraid I've got a couple of work things that have come in. I'm ever so sorry to sign off so quickly.
Sorry, you got what?
I've got some work to do, and I've got half an hour before the game, so I need to get a couple of things done.
No, you need to stay 3 minutes to the toss.
Is the toss at 1:30, is it?
Yeah.
Toss.
We're
all four of us are tossers. We're going to wait for the toss.
I've got it. I've got the live too, so I'll be able to give you the first.
Reg, you can't leave 3 minutes before the toss.
I'll wait.
That's leaving before the battle starts.
Then I've got to make a couple of calls before the game starts. But I will stay. I will stay.
Are you chicken to see the toss? Are you scared that if England loses the toss, you're going to show your true colours?
Reg, what's the situation of pubs in England? I mean, they are open, like they must be full tonight.
Well, but it's only 1:30 in the afternoon, so I don't know. I don't go to pubs very often. I haven't been in a pub for a long while. It's not really my scene. But yeah, there might be a few people watching in a pub, but say it's only lunchtime here. So, and it's a grey autumn day. Mild though for the time of year. Very mild.
What's mild for England? 3 degrees? Or?
No, I think they said it's 15 degrees down in the southeast where I live today. That's very mild for mid-November or early November. Normally, the average temperature is about 8 or 9 degrees this time of year.
Centigrade, am I correct? Or which scale are you talking about?
Sorry, say again?
I'm saying degrees centigrade or degree Fahrenheit?
Yeah. No, degrees centigrade. It's 50.
Here's the truth. Here's the truth.
Go on. I can't read it.
Munchie says Reg has been banned from most pubs. No wonder you can't go to pubs. You've been banned.
He's probably right. Yeah, we did have some fun in a couple of pubs on tour a few years ago.
All right, now we've lost Nalakshi. I don't know what's gone on there, but she'll come back. Doesn't she look good? She looks really, really bright and sparky, which is good.
Recovered from her operation, I think.
Yeah.
She looks bright and bubbly for sure.
I haven't had an operation, but I'm still recovering.
Yeah.
So, Baram, what are you going to say about India? Are you crying or what?
Disappointed, of course. See, I would say I was sure that India would definitely not win the World Cup given Virat Kohli's performance, but I was disappointed that it did not come into the final four. So I was that way I was sure that definitely will not win the World Cup. So, but going back to the matches, see the first match, many people say that India batting, but my viewpoint is that India ended up making 151 in that first match, and 151 is not a, I won't say a very good score, but not a bad score either. It was a good, but then the bowling was completely toothless. Now again, there was a due factor and those things what people are talking about. Right now, what they're saying in the current stage of tournament, since we are at the mid of November, it's cooler over there in Dubai, so the due factor is actually reducing. This is what people are saying. So that is the situation in these matches. So what I understand right now, the impact of dew would reduce and reduce because we are in November and December, which are the cooler months in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So coming back to India, yeah, that was the first match. Where I felt the bowling was something that let us down. There was it as if when they came out to field, there was no intention giving Bhuvaneshwar Kumar the first over to ball instead of Bumrah. So those are things I felt it very like weird strategy. How can I say? Then second New Zealand match, it was clearly a do or die match. It was a known like. That was the match where it would either go. It was a go or no go, which ended up being a no go with very again lackluster batting performance, and the score was so low that it was tailor made for Kale Williamson to bat and score it off. So that was the end. So overall, a very disappointing World Cup. Remaining three matches, okay, they played, scored run rate and everything, but it was all water under the bridge.
So, Baram, is No Name a friend of yours? Because Aditya's just noticed that when you came on, No Name came on.
I don't have such a friend. Yeah, but would like to make him a friend since he's coming on for me.
So there's it's almost they're saying there's a confirmation that Billings is in and Bairstow's opening, but we haven't had any toss yet, have we?
There's
It must be.
situation there. Can you see the toss?
They're ready for the fight.
Come on the UK, but they haven't gone to the toss yet. I'm keeping my eye closely on it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're there. The captains are there with Nasir Hussain. Nasir Hussain is there with the captains.
You've got a better feed than me. I'm in the Sky Sports studio. The Sky Sports cover it in our country, but listen to Kevin Peterson talking at the moment. Eagle player Kevin Peterson was.
He was. He's going to be playing the Ultimate Cricket Challenge, which cricket with a K, as we speak.
All right. The problem England have got, if we do bat first and we don't post the big enough score, then exactly what Baram said. Williamson is an absolute master. He is there's no one better in the world at judging a lower score chase.
Okay, New Zealand has won the toss. New Zealand has won the toss.
Oh, so England will be back.
Oh boy, Reg Vernon, what are you going to say to that?
Well, New Zealand won the toss and chose to field. Norman, they're writing field. They're not writing bowl. They're writing field on the screen.
There you go. Well, so they've just gone to the toss here in I'm watching it now, but yeah. So Williamson called it.
And he won it here.
So yeah.
Oh boy. And the sides have been told as well. Josh Butler and Bairstow opening, Milan 3, Morgan 4, Liam Livingston, Moeen Ali, Sam Billings is in as we expected, Wokes, Jordan, Rashid, Mark Wood's in.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Okay.
It wouldn't have been Morgan's, as I say, modus operandi to have changed it up much. I didn't see the change in the bowling. I just saw the Billings coming in. I think a lot of people would have predicted that, but it's the way Morgan does it. He would have. It's the least way to unsettle the side. It comes down to dew then, guys. If there's going to be dew or not dew. They never know, by the way. It's a weird part of the world. They can't know from one day to the next whether how much dew is going to come down.
No, but it's definitely coming down. That's what the experts are saying over there, because it's obviously cooler. So that's how the
so more dew, the cooler it. That's what they're saying now. You're right. But how much of it? I mean, the other day when England played, was it Sri Lanka? I mean, it was ludicrous. They had to change the ball because it was so wet, and they had a towel. I'm just going to hear what
Maybe
Morgan.
they should have a hair dryer and
Yeah.
the
Look,
Empire is a portable hair dryer.
It looks as though Williamson's ecstatic.
Just give me a sec, guys. Morgan just says that he hopes the dew doesn't have too much of an influence on the game. The wicket looks great, and he just hopes that the cricket will be played, not the dew influencing. It's what Morgan's just said. But he's always going to say that. That's what they have to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Maybe he's already giving us reason for losing. Hope not.
No, possibly. But it's,
oh, look, I told in the beginning, right?
it might be an excuse, but Morgan's not an excuses guy. I guarantee that. It might have an influence on it, but we'll see, won't we?
Look, I'll tell you what. The way that Williamson's talking, today's a great occasion. Looking forward to getting involved. He's ecstatic. He's winning the toss. He's probably skipping off the ground at the moment. I'm afraid.
Yeah, yes. Right, guys. I'm going to part. I hope. Sorry to leave you.
Now, hang on, Reg. Does that mean you're changing your winner?
I think New Zealand are favourites to win. I think England are going to have to play very well, and I'm going to predict an England win, and I'm going to predict man of the match will be Liam Livingstone.
And Aditya Rice says Kumar Messina is in England's playing 11 today. Ooh.
England to win, I think they need to be above 180 plus. Anything less than 180, I feel 180 plus.
Yeah, 180, 190 would be a total they would be looking for.
That's what you have seen teams batting for. That's a winning total.
I think 160 would be a score that they can defend. Once anything above 160, and I fancy that England could do okay. Got to get there first. Need Munchie out there, don't we? Eh?
But what's your Reg about Jason Roy? Means a lot of talks. Some people are saying what's your opinion or what's the impact of Jason Roy not being there in this match?
I think it's a massive miss, isn't it? He's talismanic at the top of the order. He's part of the side, isn't he? He's one of the first names down there, and he can make a big difference. It's a miss, but he has missed a few games in the past, and they do. Besto, I like Besto. He's good. He's a good player. Crikey.
Hang on a minute, Reg. You said much earlier that you thought Besto wasn't up to be an opening player.
No, not me. No, I think Besto is good opener. I think they could have gone other ways. I think Besto opens in the IPL, of course, for Sunrisers, and he's quite devastating. Him and Warner, they've been the only over the last, not necessarily this season, but in previous seasons, they were smashing it to all parts as an opening partnership, weren't they? Warner and Bairstow.
Yeah.
So he can certainly do it. It's not as though you're thrusting someone in there who doesn't do it. Bairstow only came down the order in the 2020 because they perceive him as a good player of spin bowling. But he's perfectly capable. And I'll tell you what, Johnny Bairstow is the most intense player in the bloody team, isn't he? He'll go out there giving it 100%. So, guys, I've really got to go. I've got to make two calls.
Thanks a lot, Reg. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye. All the best.
This is the last time we'll talk to Reg. The last time he'll be watching with England still in the World Cup. Because next time we speak to Reg, they'll be out.
Personally, I would like Australia and New Zealand to win the World Cup. It would be good for T20 cricket since it would be a new winner.
What? I mean, they won the bloody World Test Championship. What more do they bloody want to see? What do you mean it won't be good for world cricket? What are you talking about? I don't want New Zealand winning anything more. Second New Zealand winning thing. This is getting... Okay, they made the final. They got beaten by bloody England by Wisco a few years ago. They won the World Test Championship. Going to win this as well? What is this? Pakistan.
I was listening to Simon Dewell, part of the preview. He said that if it was not for Ben Stokes' bat, Williamson would have been potentially at the brink of lifting a third ICC trophy each in a format in 2 years' time.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Quite incredible. I mean, really, this has been a remarkable. The biggest disappointment keeps coming up here. The fact that India are not here is quite a shock. Because let's be honest, we all talked about India making the final without much doubt. We thought they'd lead their group and they'd be through. They're not even in the semi-final.
Norman, if you see, nobody would have predicted that West Indies and India would be not in the top 4. Those both two teams not being in the top 4.
Yeah, so I had gone for England, West Indies in one group, and India, Pakistan, and obviously New Zealand would have been close. But yeah, New Zealand has done definitely much better. But yeah, at a level you also feel that Australia has done very well with the background of the way the preparation was. This side never played together for last 4 to 5 months. Many of them took break. Many didn't come back for the second leg of IPL. So considering that the background, I think Australia has done very well. And that's why West Indies is very disappointing, because they had the best preparation. The amount of home series they played, T20, CPL, IPL. And I think the first game against England, 55 all out, I think that hit them so bad.
Absolutely.
Actually, the first game matters a lot of every tournament. That it's for any team, the first game, and they need to really take it seriously and not casually.
Yeah. So, I mean, the only thing that concerns me about England, they've made the final, they deserved it. Don't forget, 3 teams finished with 4 wins and 1 loss, Australia and South Africa. And I tell you what, the run rate just got England home. Sorry, go.
No, I was exactly the same thing, Norman. That Group A was so tight that if England would have lost that match by 120 runs, they would have been out. Their 100, obviously, that was not something that was could have happened, but it was still a possibility. If they would have lost the match by 120 runs, I think 115 or 120 runs, England would have been out. You would have South Africa and Australia in the final.
But Australia, Norman. No, Australia's benefit was that win against Bangladesh. 83 all out Bangladesh. They chased it in 6.5 overs. Until then, South Africa was number 2, but then Australia got a huge boost because of that win.
But I did talk earlier that the weirdness of England smashing Australia beating South Africa, and then South Africa beating England. That doesn't make any sense. And on top of that, you have a situation where really Australia, Australia, I don't think deserved to be in a semi-final. They certainly got better towards the end, yes. Like when they got thumped by England, they were so out of their depth. But the reality is now,
I would also put many people are even Tim Wilton. South Africa was unlucky. I wouldn't say they were unlucky. Even they goofed up, or they really goofed up in that Bangladesh game. They should have also gone ahead. They knew this is going to be a run rate thing. They took 14 overs to get 80 runs, whether they should have actually done it in 7 or 8 overs. They were just batting it. It was ridiculous. I watched that match. I said, why are they not going for a run rate, or why are they not pushing it? I found it, and they have to blame themselves for it. They can't say that we were unlucky or something. That was a match. They had the opportunity to improve their run rate. They did not.
I've got a feeling that New Zealand's going to win this, based on them batting second, based on the fact that England had wobbled against South Africa in the last match. England may have lost their mojo a little bit. New Zealand have slowly been improving. I've got a feeling New Zealand's going to win this one. But on the other hand, tomorrow I think Pakistan have to win. They deserve it. So you may find a bizarre New Zealand versus Pakistan.
Australia will lift this World Cup. Mark my words.
You reckon Australia's going to win it? Please not. Oh, no,
Australia, New Zealand final, and Australia wins it.
How boring! I mean, Australia never won a T20 World Cup. Okay, that's fact. So that's one thing.
Yeah, neither has New Zealand, right? Both these teams haven't won at all. England and Pakistan have won once. Yeah.
But really, what frustrates me, England, not so much, but certainly England, and definitely Pakistan deserve to be in the final. They won their groups, well, especially Pakistan, they won it convincingly, 5-0. I know that you can stumble when it matters most, which is the semi-final. You're looking at both Matthew Hayden and Justin Langer. I'm very, very impressed with Matthew Hayden. If you watch Matthew Hayden on the videos for Pakistan cricket, his way of explaining things has been magnificent. He's such a motivational force. Whereas Justin Langer, in all fairness, has been very regimented and very negative in the way he approaches it. I think Hayden's got the upper hand there.
So what are you hinting, Norman? Hayden would be the next coach of Australia?
Well, I mean, if Pakistan beat Australia, you might have to start thinking about it. Look, Justin Langer is gone next May, if he lasts that long. Even though he's done okay in this tournament, his days are numbered. There's enough player dissension going on there that we have seen. Everyone's talking about it. He's not continuing.
But you need that one change to get rid of it, Norman. Like what I believe India has done it right now with Kohli means coming out of captaincy and Rohit coming in, and hopefully, and even Rahul Dravid coming in as the coach. So let's hope.
But I don't think. I mean, Dravid's good. Dravid's good. Very, very good. I'm not knocking Dravid, but I think Shastri's a loss. I really think Shastri's been a major architect with the way they played Test cricket in particular. Maybe the short format. Look, Kohli hasn't been the right captain, I'm afraid. He's shown it with the RCB effort. It hasn't got them across the line. He's no longer captaining there. He's no longer captaining for India. I think, Naresh, you said it earlier, that this could be the days are numbered for Kohli playing T20 cricket. Even though he's the leading run scorer, he might still play as a batter. We'll see. But, you know, we've got to take our hat off him. He is the leading run scorer by quite a decent margin.
See, because he has played the most number of people are saying that because he has played the most number of games also. You have to look at that also, right? His strike rate is like 130, 140.
But I feel this we are probably a year late to decide on at least different captains or 50% of different team for white ball and test cricket for the amount of cricket India plays. You know, this was something which should have been anticipated. It will happen someday or the other. In the end, all are humans. You know, even the IPL, there's so much of demand that these Indian stars play. It's very difficult that they take a break from the IPL, and that's something not going well with a lot of ex-cricketers in India. That one of the reasons of this performance in the World Cup. So how do they balance these things out? You know, that's going to be the key, because Norman, it's the fact. You know, Indian cricket has a huge commercial value, and that comes from the brand of cricket the Indians play. So it's very, very difficult to make anyone think that okay, you don't play this IPL, you don't play this match. It's very tough call to make these things.
I think Kohli and his team will be happy for a little break. They're going to come back pretty hard against New Zealand. I think they're going to be really pumped against New Zealand, especially in India.
Not only that, Naresh, IPL is one thing, but even in this big tournaments is because of the Indian audience or the broadcasters requirement or looking at that. You see all the schedule of India getting matches like the first match on Sunday, next match again after 7 days on a Sunday. That was all clearly it's all a broadcaster requirement, and that's really
absolutely.
on the team.
So I think it's good if Kohli can continue focusing on the World Test Championship, because that also is a big stake. And Rohit Sharma taking care of white ball with 2 World Cups happening now, one in another 11 months and then 2023 50 over. I think that's a fair thing to happen.
Yeah.
After that, when the next World Cup after 2023, 2024, we have T20. No, we should have.
2024 will have a Champions Trophy. I think is there one last Champions Trophy they're planning in 2024. I think so.
T20 World Cup is after every 2 years. So 2022, there should be one in 2024, right? That's what they said.
Yeah.
I like this comment from Arun Singh. So Dhoni had predicted long, but no,
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't the
Norman,
comment.
that's like you are standing on a, means, or you're in a car driving, you come at a signal and you say, oh, now it will become green. Now it will become green. Look, it became green.
Okay. This is the comment that made me laugh. Dhoni might be coaching Australia in the future. That would be a ball. Imagine Dhoni coaching Australia. That'd be a bit of fun. I don't think it's going to happen somehow. Okay, when was the last? I mean, there's always Australian coaches or New Zealand coaches or South African coaches coaching India, Sri Lanka, whomever. But we've not seen an Indian player, let's say, coach Australia. Now, why is that? Why don't we have foreign? We've had Mickey Arthur, yes, we've had him. That's about it.
I think that would happen maybe 5-10 years down the line, where India really becomes.
No, but you may not have a head coach in Australia or in England, but do you have a support under the head coach? Australia, I think, who's that? Sridhar. He's a spin coach. Spin coaches in India. He's there since more than 2 years now with Australian team.
Okay, that's true. That's true. But I'd love to see. I think it'd be great novelty value to have Dhoni coach Australia. I love that. That'd be fantastic.
I think this this decision has come in announcement of Rahul Dravid, but there are another couple of roles which have not been filled, because even Bharat Arun announced his exit after the last game, the bowling coach. That has to be replaced. So that is not. I think it's going to be Paras Mamre, who has been closely working with Rahul Dravid in the National Cricket Academy. So he used to play for Mumbai. Paras Mamre mostly he'll come in that role. I think VVS Lakshman is going to take over Rahul Dravid's role in the academy. So that there is shuffling happening, and then I think then is when again they have to regroup to decide on Dhoni's role. Because this was a very temporary role. He was more like a bridge because of Ravi Shastri exiting. So Dhoni was more a bridge. So now what's going to be his role in the future?
Well, his role didn't work. His role didn't work. They didn't win it.
Yeah, but that is like nobody said that, oh, what was the use of getting Dhoni as mentor? Not a single I heard a channel or anybody speaking about, oh, what was the use of getting Dhoni, or nobody's even speaking about it. I found that a little weird.
But I mean, it didn't do any good, did it? It didn't help at all. Like,
it was the exact thing he was got. Like for the New Zealand match, they said, oh, spirits were down. Pakistan match pressure was this, but that's what exactly what Dhoni was got into. That was his, I believe, what a mentor should do.
Yeah, he didn't seem to have the impact that he should have, and I'm not blaming him, but it obviously didn't work. They didn't make the semi-finals, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at. I tell you what, there's a fella, that bowler, what's his name? Copley? He's a tall bugger.
Who's
very
that?
tall. The bloke that's come on, Copley, he's not playing today, but he's very tall. He's a tall guy.
And repeatedly on the telecast, they're showing the 2019 World Cup, the final. Strokes diving, ball hitting the bat, their last ball, the run out. Repeatedly, that is victory.
Now,
yeah, Lucifer. Thanks for the compliment, Lucifer. Yeah. Bharat Arun also is quitting, and apparently Shastri and Bharat Arun together have got offered to head the Ahmedabad franchisee team.
Really?
If that works out, yeah, that's the offer. That's what I hear here locally, that they might
Ahmedabad
take
already got a head coach, right? I forgot the name. It's already announced that he will be coaching Ahmedabad. Oh, sorry, that was Bangalore. My bad.
Yeah, Bangalore got a new head coach, right? I don't get the name, but yeah, Shastri and Bharat might together go and set up the Ahmedabad squad. Yeah.
What would Shastri get paid to do that? What sort of money would he be on? It doesn't come under any budget, does it? It's not a player cap on the coach.
No.
For the India coaching, he was getting around 2 crore, right? Naresh, if I'm not wrong.
No, much more. I think it was 5 to 8 crores a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're out there for the anthem. I don't see Javo there.
Yeah,
Thank
Sanjay
God.
Bangar. Yeah, I read someone commenting. Yeah, Sanjay Bangar has taken over Bangalore side. Yeah,
Someone no name.
Mohan
name.
Singh passed away, didn't he?
His name is no name.
No. We're giving a minute silence here, are we? So Conway's batting position in the order, that's one thing they could well afford to have Conway open because he's proven to be an aggressive opener. So predictions, guys, who do you think is going to win this and why?
I think, Norman, this power play will be a huge deciding factor on how England plays out the power play, because their approach is known. They're going to be very attacking. But if they lose wickets, then New Zealand will continue to have an upper hand. But if England play out the power play, getting those 50-55 runs with no wickets, I think 180, 190, they'll be able to defend them.
So you're thinking England will win?
I think now with this toss, it is still 50-50. Otherwise, England started favourite. But now with New Zealand...
There's no 50-50 here. You either win or you lose.
One second,
go with
Norman.
England.
Take a Tim Milton. Tim Milton's come in. It's not 50-50. This is a 20-20.
I'll still go with England, Norman.
So you're sticking with England?
Yeah.
Barang, who's going to win?
Given New Zealand won the toss, New Zealand.
My honest thoughts?
To win, England has to score 180, 190, and given the New Zealand bowlers, and they are very good at strangling the batsmen, and they are really good at that. How they come with very clear game plans. They know, they do their homework very well. That is something New Zealand. They are very strong with their basics. New Zealand is not a high flyer team or something, but they are very strong with their basics. And they really feel as a team together. And given the toss went in their favor, for me it was the toss. Both these teams, if you look individually, I would say England is a better team than New Zealand. But again, they are lacking Jason Roy. That is one thing. Toss went. Overall, I'll go with New Zealand for today.
I'm afraid after New Zealand, they played well in their last group match, and England got beaten by South Africa. I think England's momentum might be waning a little bit. New Zealand won the toss. New Zealand are very buoyant. New Zealand's it's there for New Zealand to win, I'm afraid. And I'm disappointed because I think England deserved to be in the final, but things aren't quite going right for them.
In T20, there is no such thing as deserve, Norman. ODI and World Test, there is.
Why can't they deserve it? What do you mean?
Because it's a very how can you say, a very that day specific, that ground specific. Who are the members of your team? And those factors really get expanded a lot in a T20 compared to a ODI and then to a Test. It's
but
you here is so critical.
I think the important player will be Butler. Butler gets a wriggle on, he gets some runs that England have won.
Only I'll say England winning is scoring 180 plus. Forget the 6 overs and that all is all. It's in the end, can they make it more than 180? I think 160, even 170 is something New Zealand would end up chasing. 180 plus, I would say, yes, England would have the lead.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. I think this will be quite an exciting match, actually. But do you seriously think tomorrow's match, that Australia's going to win and win easily against Pakistan? You can't say that.
No, can't say it's going to be an easy win. They can upset. And that's why I feel Pakistan obviously start favourite. And the reason I say England winning today is because I think England in this World Cup has looked the only side who would probably go and stop Pakistan. So England-Pakistan final would start as a 50-50, because both have played very good cricket.
I just don't think Australia deserved to be in the final. I don't think they played that well. They had a very ordinary win against South Africa. They got absolutely smacked by England. The other games they won, yes, but they were, they beat Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and the West Indies. It's not exactly exciting, really.
But your favorite is back in form, David Warner.
Oh, look, he's gloating. I want to, if he's really good, do it in the semi-final. I don't care about it. Do it in the semi-final and the final. I think that. See, remember how England bowled to Australia? They smacked them. They got all these early wickets. Warner, Mitch Marsh, they all went very quickly.
Yeah.
Actually, Owen Morgan's been pretty good batting form too, hasn't he? All right, here we go. Watch a few balls, guys, then we're going to stop. Okay?
Saudi is opening.
Yeah. He's only 32. I thought he was 35 or something. He's only 32.
Yeah. He started early, I think. He made his debut quite early.
He did. This Conway's just taken over, hasn't he? He's a bloody South African, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Here we go, down to one knee.
You were earlier, Norman, I was watching your show. You were talking that you were very impressed with Afghanistan. But more than Afghanistan, I was impressed with Namibia. They were a really good team to watch.
Yeah. Scotland were disappointing.
So were Ireland.
Who?
Yeah, Namibia did well.
Ireland.
I thought you said Adelaide.
What land?
Adelaide. Kuma's Dharmasena, whenever he sees me, he goes, "Hi, boss." He calls me boss. We know each other really well. Because I used to hang around, I told you back in the 96 World Cup.
Calls you what? Kumar Dharmasena calls you balls.
Boss.
Boss.
Hi, boss. I was there when the World Cup was on a couple of years ago, and he came in and we had a chat. I know him. I've known him for quite a while. And he often comments on my social media. Lovely bloke. Very down to earth, very humble. Despite being a bloke that, he's 33 T20I. He played in the World Cup, won a World Cup. He's got a pretty impressive, background.
Reg was saying about Ian Morgan retiring. That was a strong.
I don't think if he wins the World Cup, he should be best way to end. How old? He's not that old, is he?
I have no idea. That was actually good to ask you how old is Ian
Morgan.
Bit of swing going on there, wasn't it? All right, guys, we can go. Well, now what's the first over? Is there going to be a wicket in the first over, guys? I want an answer. No. Baram, will there be a wicket in the first over?
Morgan is 35.
Yeah, I care about the total.
Morgan is 35, Norman.
Yeah, it's retirement time for him. Jason Roy played.
Ajit Rai saying Kumar Dharmasena is the empire, so advantage England.
Oh, that was a cheeky run. Oh, gee, that was a bit cheeky. If Butler goes early and say Bairstow, that's it.
Well bowled. Saudi is getting some swing.
He is. But Butler's been incredible for me. He scored a century, a couple of 50s, I think he scored. Oh, Jesus. I thought Butler edged that.
Yeah, that's swing. Yeah.
Everybody stand over there. Have you seen that, Norman?
Yeah.
All the players are tanned.
Beautiful delivery. That really did go.
Desert sun.
That was a classic outswinger.
Outswinger, yeah.
2 runs. Oh, gee, I tell you what, it's pretty. Poor first over of batting.
Okay, Norman, then let's vamonos. Naresh, bye-bye.
Okay. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Naresh. Thanks, Brahm.
See you. Bye-bye.
I'm
Enjoy.
hoping you're available for the next 2 games, okay?
Yep. We'll join you tomorrow again. Yeah.
All right,
Sure.
guys. Love you
So
and leave
everyone,
you.
do watch Eyes on Cricket. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe and hit the bell button, and do click on all. Bye-bye.
Hit
Bye,
my
bye,
bell. All right, see you guys.
Hit Norman's balls.
That'll make a bell sound like the
Yeah.
big bell. Boom.
So you will
All
be
right, guys.
notified. Bye-bye.
Ciao, guys. Ciao. See you, Naresh. Great having Naresh and Baram Arani. We had, obviously, Nalakshi. We had Munshi. We had Reg. David Graving is supposed to be here today, but he hasn't come yet. That's all right. Still, if they're around for the final, they'll be here. Though. So England have got off to a steady, yet not spectacular start. Narman Narayan Singh, with Morgan not in form, but Butler is the only man who was holding. Oh, yeah, that was fun. Thanks. And it was great. It was good. So Bairstow needs 1/6 to have 50 in T20s. Morgan needs 1/6 to have 350 in T20s. Williamson needs 69 runs to have 2,000 in T20Is. And Mill needs 2 wickets to be 150 in T20s. Some pretty good records there. I do like the records. Williamson's getting close to 2,000 runs. Best seaman in the world is Bolt. And the wickets, he has Bolt. Well, he's on now, and he's opening over now. Shaheen Afridi was also brilliant too. Let's see. His ICC T20 international ranking is 41 for a bowl. That's pretty low, despite being the leading player for this tournament. Let's see how Bolt goes. Yes, I do start Vic Bagara. I did remember what Hussey did. We'll see if he does it again. I've got a feeling New Zealand's going to win this. I've got a feeling that New Zealand's going to win this. Even though England deserved to be the team to go through, it may not happen. No, England are not going away with it just yet. Let's have a look. Butler's hit beautifully all tournament. Advantage Kiwis hits, right? Uncle and Marcus said that. That's a very good comment. And Butler had 100, some solid 50. He's the goods. He scored 264 runs in this series so far, 245 behind Baba Azam's number 1. So that's pretty big comments. The Tahiti video's got 98. Beautiful delivery. New Zealand flags waving quite strong. It's been quite breezy there. Pretty humid. Are you happy with the team selection of India against New Zealand? I was hoping Ravi Bishnoi to be in the team. Well, yeah, he wasn't. Is it Tyrone Mills? I was hoping we'll pick a lot more of the youngsters. Yeah, Bishnoi, Gaikwad, Shreyas Iyer. New Zealand have to be a little bit careful here that let England have any advantage early on. Really, it's Bolt and Saudi are both opening the bowling, and these guys do like pace, and nothing's happened so far. Whoops, it was not meant to be where Bairstow wanted to go. It was an inside edge that's gone on the final leg. It's gone for 4. It was a very lucky 4. You're right. Clapping. You can't clap that. It was a shocker on the shot. Oof. Frustrating to watch that. So after 2 overs, England are 12. So they're, at this point, 120 is their total, but they'll get more than that, hopefully. And I think they will scoop it over mid-on. Here's the thing. Every veteran seasoned player should fight for their position in the team. Everyone should be based on merit. Yeah, I agree. Score update, Shastri. It's none for 12 after 2. England none for 12 after 2. Bowling so far has been steady, not exciting, but steady. Butler should suddenly tee off. Scoreboard. Okay, I'm gonna. I'll put the. Quite a better. Okay, so New Zealand 1 toss. And elected to bowl. With England none for 13. Well, 3 overs or so. So New Zealand won the toss, elected to bowl, with England none for 13 off 3. Well, not quite 3, but very close to 3. There you go. Jeez, bloody big cockroach. There's a score update for you, okay? New Zealand won the toss, elected to bowl, with England none for 13 off 3 at this point. Looks like it's exactly what it'll say. It'll be none for 13 off 3. It's only 1 run off that over. Gee, that was a very good over from Southie. You'd have to argue this is not a good scoreline. Will Raul help improve the Indian scene norm? Yes, it'll improve certain aspects, certainly. But I think they'll lose other aspects which Shastri had. So still a good move, considering Shastri is not coaching anymore. Can't coach anymore due to age or whatever the factor was. Dravid will add. Certainly, he'll certainly add some to the whole thing. So that was a very good over from South. Only the 1 run off that over. Actually, that was not a good performance. Best, so struggled a bit there. Why you shouldn't eat in your room? That's why you shouldn't eat in your room. Why? Why? I mean, Butler's the key here against Bolt. Butler should. He's due to tee off. This is already into the fourth over of the power play. They need to score more runs. They got a defensive field cockroach. Yeah, there's a cockroach. Oh, I get you now. I get you. Well, there, Butler's on cue. Bairstow was a bit quiet the previous over, but as soon as he faces this now, played a magnificent drive of a very good ball, actually. Beautiful shot. Butler may tee off now. It was a wide delivery, and he's hit it beautifully away again. Bolt showed a bit of nervousness there at 2-4 on the first two deliveries. This is now Butler's hit the button. Butler's pressed the button. There's a reach for it, but he played it very successfully. Well played and beautifully timed. Absolutely cleaned up. Then now got this paranoid with bloody cockroach. Okay. This is where it becomes, this particular over, the fourth over, is where Butler could actually really take charge. We didn't get a fall there, that ball, but this is where Bolt could take a bit of charge here. Neesham is important to both bat and ball. Hasn't been absolutely amazing for him at all. Oh, and Bolt bowled a short ball. Butler's gone for it and got on top edge. He's got another 4. Is it a wide? No, in fact, it looks like they're calling wide. He didn't touch that. So Butler didn't get a hold of that, but he got 4 anyway. Yeah, it was certainly a wide or no ball. I think Venkatesh Iyer will be the X factor in the upcoming series. If he gets a chance to play I think so. I think Venkatesh Iyer was fantastic in the IPL, deserves a chance. I think he's in the squad. So if he's in, it'll go. Another good drive from Butler. He's looking really in ominous form there. That was a good over for England. Bolt's none for 19 off 1.4, none for 21 off 4, 8, 12, 14. Actually, I think it's 4, 8, 12. It's actually 15 off the over so far. Yep, 15 off the over so far. Expensive over. What's happened here? It's got a bit let's look here. We've got a bit of a stalemate here. What's the score? The screen suddenly is stuck. Not happy with that. Turn it back on again. So none for 29 after 4. Was expensive over, right? Enough to another. Oops, that was another Butler. That was Butler this time with the inside edge. New Zealand were outstanding on the field. They're just showing the fielding of New Zealand against I think it was Afghanistan. So that we're looking good. Well, Bairstow's decided to go for it, and he has it in 6, but he's at 4. So England going along nicely at the moment. Not the most well-timed of shots, but it still gave them 4 runs, so. Yeah, none for 34 off 4.2. This is pretty solid. Run rate's jumping to 7.85. No, that was 2 down, I think so. So far, so good from New Zealand. So far, so good. Nation may come in the bowl soon enough. For 34 off 4.3 overs. Bairstow facing Southey. Yeah, 7 or 8 and over in this early stage is pretty good. Sam Billings is there. He's having a bit of a chat to the coach. Butler facing Southey. Pulled the ball, but it went to ground. It's only a single to fine leg. So far, there's 7 off the over. Got some rather interesting looking Pakistani outfitted people. But they're not playing today. I'm going to try Coke Zero or Diet Coke in place of normal Coke. Okay. So that's 37 after 5. They've got 8 off the over. So 70. So 37 after 5. None for 37 after 5. It's a fair start there. New Zealand won the toss, of course, elected to bowl, and therefore England are none for 37 after 5. 7.4 thereabouts per over. Yeah, 37 runs without a wicket of 5 overs, run rate 7.4. It's pretty solid start. Owen Morgan's padded up. Is he going in first drop? May well be the case. Adam Milne's getting a bowl now, getting a Guernsey. After Bolton, now Bairstow's angry about something. Somebody in the crowd's caused some issues. Adam Mills played 5 games, but he only taken 2 wickets. Hasn't set the wall on fire. Oh, and it looks like Williamson has just taken a great catch off Milne's bowling, and Best has out for 13. First ball, he's hit it quite solidly, but straight to Williamson, who was ready for it. And sharp felling with New Zealand. There's a bit of question there whether actually was up there, just checking whether it was in fact caught, but it looks like it's out. Bairstow will be out for 13 off 17 balls. He certainly hit it up. It's a decision pending. I think it'll be pretty clearly out. There's little doubt that he's out. There's no doubt. No doubt at all. He's out. One for 37 off 5 plus overs. Bairstow 13 off 17. Not a bad start, but that shot, well, Milan's in now. He's obviously been the T20 player of the #1 player, they're saying. It's his day now. Darwin Milan. So obviously Alan Morgan's going in at 4, I'm saying. Okay. Darwin Milan, he's not that young, age 34. He's ICC T20 rankings now 2. Not sure who's won, but it was a good catch. Can't knock that. It was a good catch. Okay. Let's see. It's with Butler still there, there's every chance. But at this point, 1 for 38. One rate dipping a little bit. Paul Rifle's checking something as the off-field umpire, the 4th umpire, I guess, 3rd or 4th, probably the 4th. Butler's there doing some score prediction. Well, the way they're going, 150 is what England probably will get. 150, close to 160. But is that enough? I don't think it's enough. If they were to get 180, then it'll be a great situation. But 150 to 160 is just a little bit short. So they've had a wicket, a 1 dots. They've only 1 off 3 balls, but they've taken a wicket as well. It's a good shot, Butler. Personally, taken only off for 1. Oh, no. Well, they need to come back hard into the World Cup next year. I know it's too early, but so. Oh, you'd have to think so. Something. As long as they get the younger players in, yes, they should do well. But it will suit Australia and probably England and even South Africa more too. So it's going to be hard. So 1 for 40 off 6 overs. So 1 for 40 off 6. It's 7. It's less than 7 and an over now. Ready being Saudi on the 7th over. It's taken 8 wickets over 6 matches. This is bowled pretty well. Butler's on 20, Malone on 1. 1 for 40 off 6. Should be interesting. I would have stepped out and taken on the full. Missed opportunity there. Missed opportunity indeed. Missed opportunity. Missed opportunity. Unfortunate, really. Tilt the first ball? And tilt the 2 balls, okay. Let's see how we go. So at least taking 2 balls. Ooh, beat the bat. It's fun. Ooh. Did he get that? Yeah, 150 is not enough. But we're going to go for it. $65 and 130, 195. Yeah. Sri Lankan bugle player and drummer. Not sure what Sri Lanka's doing there when it's England versus New Zealand. Anyway. All right. So he's got well. It's effectively 5 off the over. 5 off the over. 1 for 45 after 7. They're slipping the run. We're slipping it back a little bit there. One for 45 of 7. Southeast had 3 overs, Bolts 2, and Milner, so they 1 each. And Santon is still there as well, and Nation. Certainly should be the ones they should tonk. They've got to tonk him. Well, tonk somebody, they can tonk him. Milan. Met up with him at Lords. Milan's certainly gone for it. Has only picked up a single. Anything less than 150 is not enough. If Butler does not get out in the next 3 hours, he is going to take the game away from himself. Well, Butler will have to really go for it and succeed. Good shot from Butler. He's taken a reverse sweep and it's worked. He's got 4 for it. So England have reached the first 50, 150. Good shot. $150 to 7.4. Okay, Butler has moved on to 28, I think. What's that? One more ball left in the 8th over. Still not quite setting the ball on fire, Eagles. $54 of 8, if I'm not wrong. It says 53 there. One for 53 off 8. Oops. Butler's just got out of the other. I don't know whether I don't know if it's worth challenging it. He's challenging it. It didn't look out to me. If he's out, it is a big fish. So look here. No, I think that's heading outside offside. Three reds. What's that mean? Is he out? Oh, he is out. Oh boy, that's a blow. But only in 29 certainly is not enough. Nominelli comes on now. Nominelli also not young. He's 34. Oh well, so he's taken the wicket that they didn't want to lose. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty distinctly out. So Butler has 269 runs and Bubba has 264. So Butler's just gone a bit ahead. Second over, they've lost a wicket in the first ball. So over and alone. Should put that away. Projected score, they hit 8 overs 145, 10 up to 12. It was played over the top by Milan and a well played shot. To 2 for 60 off 9. Run rate's dropping well below 7. 2 for 60. If they can keep Wiggins and Tack about this rate, they should have a better chance. Two for 60 of 9. Silverwood's there. Chris Silverwood. 6.67. So 130 odd runs. Not quite 140. Nation's coming on. Esther was not looking too bad. Getting on with it. Ooh. Oops. Got away with that. I got a single. Thought I was two on that. What was the catch? Operation. Sam Billings, average 29, strike 128. I'm not sure the Billings is necessarily any better. Oh, Morgan coming in as well. Score prediction is 160. That's why I think it's a bit high. I think 150 is more likely. Last ball attempt at it. Beautifully timed. 67 off 10. $67 off 10. But was gone. It was unfortunate. Okay, so the big game going, Australia versus Pakistan. This one at the moment, England are doing okay, but they're not dominating. New Zealand, they back sound, they should win this at this stage. It's just lost that one. So got Morgan. Okay. Milan's batting well, he's hitting the ball very, very swiftly. Oops. It's banged us around a fair bit there. So Phillips is coming on the ball now with his, I guess he's got military medium going on there. Milan 15 off 13, Mellon 4 off 6. A little short. 68 for 2 off 10.1 overs. Phillips military medium coming on now. Not well, a bit too excited about this bowling. Back in a sec, guys. Milan's very steady. Have to pressure carries ahead. Well, such little resource. No, that's true. That producing quite looked up to Darwin one. 76 has been 14.4. There's something on 2 there. No. 10 off the other so far. So that was 78. 2 off 11. So 2 for 78 off 11. Just over 7 runs and over. Milan 24 off 17 and Nolan 6 off 8. Is this enough? It's going to be solid. It's going to be 150, 160. Well, is that enough? New Zealand bat solidly. They can pace themselves to get past that because they're batting second. That's why. Well, it's a fairly steady match. Nothing to get too excited about at this point. Shot by Milan. We set the gap again. Milan's exquisitely dry, isn't it? And Kiwi's bowl 7 bowls. Beautifully played, actually. It drives beautifully. Playing very conventional shots. Phillips has definitely hurt his hand or wrist. And I was also in the ball out there. Milan's got to go to Australia. England smoking will win. No, it's a bit early to say that. So 5 off the over so far. 2 balls remaining. Yeah. Richard Vernon, come back on if you want to. Well played, but oh no, I did at least a single there. Okay, so it's 3, 4, 5, 6 off the over. 2. 6 off the over. 7 for 85, 2 for 85 off 12. That's one of my little mistake. I don't know what. Okay. 2 for 85 off 12. Wait, that's reasonable, but it's not outrageously good. Two for 85 off 12. Five. So big wide. So Saudi got Butler, LBW. So what is your score line for England? When you say 165, 170, I think they'll be lucky to get that much. With at least two there, maybe. With Morgan, maybe, but Milan's had a good shot, but well fielded. Williamson below 21 stays. What's Simon Smith think? Well, New Zealand have got a great position here at the moment. If they can, even though England might get around 50, 160, so 165 at the stretch, I would think that New Zealand should be able to get it. They can pace their innings accordingly. Seven extras, which is an over, 1 over. Okay. So 4 runs off the over so far. Score predictors 170. What's the score on England winning? Well, whining. Difference to winning, isn't it? Well, that was a full toss, and it was a shocking full toss. They got a fieldsman out there. It's 5 off the over so far. That still went for 6. All that sat there beautifully, picked up. That was is a boundary. It looks like it's a boundary. Yep. Wide deliveries, not the order of day. 3, 4, 5, 9 off that over. 9 off the over. 94 was the score. Two for 94 off. 94 off 13. 7.2. They got another 7 overs to go. 42. On the base of 42. They're on 36. Current run rate, they get 145. Unusual shot. So the least. And no one was going for it. I haven't lost too many wickets though. There's one thing in their favour. They only lost the 2 wickets. Amazing. England won the World Cup. Was there in 19. July 19 was there. Stokes scored 84 not out in that match. Double 59. Very impressive. $65, $130, $195, $225, $425. Oops, Milne comes in while Milan hits it straight back at Milne. He does get a hand to it, but it didn't exactly go where he wanted it to go. He hurt his hands a little bit there, I'd say. Here's the thing I've learned. Blame of due issue on Indian viewers. It's the same for both sides. There's a half moon there. Oh, 2 for 98. So far, so there's 2, 4, 5 off the over of 5 balls. So not a great. Okay, so they've reached 100 on exactly 14 overs. 100's been reached on the 14th over in total. The stroke of the 14th over. Then don't forget Pakistan play Australia tomorrow. That's going to be so 2 for 100 after 14 overs. Now that means there's some 30 deliveries left. And 36 deliveries actually. 36 deliveries left. Bolts back on. Line 34, no one on 17. It's been a pretty good punch to this one. Mohan did well to get what was a very good Yorker off his pads. And now Nelly hit a ball. In the air, was he out? No. Potential catch. Didn't happen. Good slow ball there from Trent Bolt. No one only hit it straight up in the air. And sadly did his little best to get there, didn't quite reach it. Still hovering on that 7 runs and over. Catch dropped. Well, it was more of a spin. Robert, it was close, wasn't really a catch. So runs went 7. So at the moment, the 140, 150 mark is what they're averaging, looking at getting. But it was shot from no one else got a hold of that one. It's gone for 4, and Bolt was happy with that. 6, 8 off the over of 4 balls. This is a bit better and over. Full toss. Well, half volley actually. No one slapped that. No one off the over so far. What was that? So 110 off 15. $110 off 15. Well, with 5 overs left, they got another 50. That's 160. That's okay. It's a game. Game on. 7.33 run rate. See how that comes on. And Milan got a very short ball there, and it was there for the pickings. Let's be honest, that wasn't 96 and Milan's on the 41. No wonder he's been rated such a highly ranked player. He got that beautifully. It sat there and wanted to be hit. Is he out? Looks like he's out. No. Yep. Mine, after hitting a magnificent 6, it just got caught behind. Geez, I didn't see an edge there. Obviously, he nicked it. Because he's... after hitting a very, very solid 6. Livingston. Now, he can hit. We all know he can hit. No one ever hasn't gone yet. Morgan hasn't gone yet. Liam Livingston is the day of reckoning for him with 4.4 overs left, so 28 deliveries. Could be a time to post some damage. Morgan has decided to let Livingston go ahead of him. I think Morgan should have won next, to be honest. Yeah. Must have clipped a notable edge. 230, 350, 429. Who would Australia rather face in the finals, New Zealand or England? Probably New Zealand. But Australia have to beat Pakistan to get there. Let's not forget. Ooh. So, 8 off the over. One ball left with 6, 7, 8. Three for 119 off 16. So, 4 overs left. Tim Southey matches with Arsene Belinga for most wickets in T20 internationals. Shrikant Agarwal's here. Hey. You sleeping a little bit? It's now 2:20 a.m. Livingston's hit that hard. I'll watch the end of the 20 overs, guys, and then I'll call it quits. And we should get a pretty good gauge on how the game's going at this stage. With after this, there'll be 3 more overs, 89 and 20. Come on, England. Making game of this. Oh, and Alex hit a nicely timed 6. Beautifully timed, actually. Well played. No one's on 30. He's looking the goods. 7.78 the run rate now, starting to pick up. My place is flooded and now power is gone. Oh my God, that's what happened there. What a shot. Actually, it's a very nice shot by Molinelli. So what are you going to do? No name. Oops. Molinelli's 32. Livingston's only had a few balls. He hasn't done anything yet. Oops. Wide and Molinelli isolated. Good luck. They're off the other sofa and make that 9. In fact, they're going for 2. They're getting away. They've got 10 now. 1-6 wide, 1-6s. That's 8 and 10. So yeah, that's pretty good. So 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 off the over. 11 off the over. It's pretty good. $30, 130 off 17 overs. Three for 130 off 17 overs. 3 overs left, 18 deliveries. They get 30 again, they got 160. It's a reasonable total. Milled the ball. Molinelli's absolutely clobbered that. Another 6. Beautifully played. It was on 41. Bowling short doesn't seem to be of any use. I'll tell you what. 7.92. They're almost on 8 here. Eight. See, 80. That's the 64. 144. 7. The symbol there. 8 off the 8 already. Score predictors 169. I'm saying one close to 168. Need to look at it. Molinelli's hitting beautifully. So far, he's hit, well, it's been a total of 9 runs off 4 balls. They get 5 off the rest of the over. They're exactly 8 and over. That makes 160. 12 is left. Let's have a look here. Oh no, he's 43 or 31. That's a massive wide. We should see how they go. CSK Warrior is what Molinelli is. Yep, absolutely. Check the score 160. Is that enough? I don't think it is, but we'll wait and see. Oops. Livingston's certainly going for it. $160. If they bowl well, it should be enough. But if they don't bowl well, it won't be enough. It's simple as that. And then, where is your crib? Darren Zemi and Danny Morrison are the commentators. Well, Liam Livingston has absolutely clobbered this. Huge 6. 146 for 3 off 18. So they've gone over 8 and over. Making it hard for New Zealand now. Well, they hit that over there. They hit 16 off that over. Pretty good effort. 3 for 146 off 18. So most sixes in T20 internationals in 2021. Glenn Phillips is at 93. Livingston 86. Emil's 82. Puran 57. Pollard 55. So Livingston's right up there. 86 is only 7 behind Glenn Phillips. I didn't think he was in that many sixes. No, so 3 for 146 after 18. It's over 8 and over. No one's hit a ball quite nicely there for a single. Okay, so there's some 11 balls left. It's 160, sir. It looks like it's on the cards. Can it be stretched to 170 is the question. But no one on 44. Oops. It's a rainfall toss. So really, New Zealand aren't bowling that well. towards the end of the innings, to be honest. They should be thankful they didn't let England bat second, because if England batted second, they would win it easily. And I tell you what, that's quite an impressive shot. It was quite a slicing drive. So they've got 6-7 off the over already. They're 153. They're looking to score probably 175. I'm going to predict to score 175 now. Scores 153 with 9 balls left. Six, seven, eight. 8 off the over so far. You're looking at 169. We're close on 70 mark. They keep going this way. Good short ball. Anything close to 170 is now making it very, very competitive. It's 2, 6, 7, 8, 9 off the over. 6, 7, 8, 9. Is it there? It is there. So 9 off the over. Three for 155 of 19. The run rate of 8.16. 8.16. Well, I'm 45 not out off some 34 deliveries and Livingston 17 off 9. So they're both done quite admirably here. And Neesham's on the last over. Okay. I don't know how this is going to go. It's all upon New Zealand now to see how they're going to go. Neesham's given the last over here at bowl first ball. And Livingston's hit it, lofted off drive, and he's caught. It looked like a good shot, but the man was right on the boundary where he should be, and that's what's crucial there. $4.56. Morgan's gone out there. with 4 balls left. Owen Morgan, age 35. Oh, magnificent shot from Moeen. He's just hit his 50 of 36 deliveries and really significant and important innings. 4 for 160. So this is a good total now. They can get it close as they can to 170. It's going to be a difficult total. 3 balls left. No, he's hit a ball which looks like it's at least as well. It's gone for a single. We're really looking at that's a wide. Yeah. So far 5, 6, 7 off the over. 2 balls left. Four, 5, 6. Nine off the over so far. Last ball. Has it gone for 6? It hasn't. Oh, he's dropped it. And they got 2. So 166. 4. Okay. 166 off 20. So that's over and 8 and over. Yeah, 4 for 166 off 20. The drop catch to finish off their stumbling New Zealand drop catch. Phillips. He's got a bad arm. Okay. So England 4 for 166 after 20. It's not. Not an ideal situation. So England are 4 for 166 after 20. New Zealand need 167 to win. England are 4th for 166 after 20. New Zealand need 167 to win. Simple facts. Yeah, looking good. You would argue not looking good. So there we have it. England are 4 for 166 after their 20 allotted overs. No name, that is not my favourite match. To be honest, I don't care who wins as long as the team beats Pakistan. You know what's right. Okay, all right, well. After that, reading about matches and highlights 2011 match was me attaining Nirvana, of course. So 65 and 130 is 195. 225, 425. Okay. Nirvana, so the Guru. Okay. I think that's what it is. So yeah. Brazil won the toss and elected to bowl, with England now 4 for 166 after 20 overs, which is 8 point something per over. You still have to get that 167 to win. So the win probability is saying is England 64%, New Zealand 35%. Interesting. Ban Bothmobile hit performance only against India today, 1 for 40. Yeah, not good. Band Bowl. What would you want a Band Bowl? Is the Arjun Chopra still hosting? Arjun Chopra. Band Bowl. What about? I hate. Oh, okay. I hate them. But well, India should be familiar with him, the bowl playing. Okay. Yeah. All right, no, that's not Chopra. Yeah, I don't know when this Chopra. Akash Chopra. Okay. All right. Oh, that's not coming. There we go. All right. After 3 hours, I think it's time. Okay, guys. All right. Stay tuned for the game. Hopefully, well, New Zealand are going to try and get the 167 to win, or England can defend the 166. That's just because of New Zealand versus India series. Says in Islam, England will win for sure. I don't know. It's a bit early to say that. You can't say that for sure. What time was it in India? It's now 9. Well, once it was 2, was it 3? It'll be 9:30. Correct. Well, it's getting close to 9:18 p.m. actually. It's 9:48. It's actually 2:48 a.m. here in Australia. All right, guys. I think we might leave it at that. So I've done my 3 hours. I hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously, England are now 4 for 166 after 20. And New Zealand are to get 167 to win, or England can defend it. That's where we'll go. So we'll leave it at that. But the game tomorrow, preview will come on, Australia versus Pakistan. And I'll be with some interesting people tomorrow. So all the best, guys. Enjoy. Unless you've got some questions you want to ask me, it's up to you to ask me questions, because otherwise I'll go. I just want to see what the score is there. It's going to be interesting. Kelson's the name is Kelson. Nothing any messages there. Oh. Be here tomorrow. I'll be square, obviously. That's why I'll be here. Please, if you're viewing, make sure you view, like, and share, and subscribe, for God's sake. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification button. Go to Norm Koch, which is my Instagram, Twitter handle, my YouTube, of course, eyes on Norman Kochtank. Then you've got my LinkedIn at Norman Kochtank. Yeah. And Facebook the same. Quick info prediction: England win 54, New Zealand win 46. Yeah. England put themselves in a pretty good position, but they're not by any means certain of anything at this point. Oh, how we go? That's pretty much 50-50, isn't it? It is. Well, Wokes is out there already to start the England innings. In fact, England is already back out there to play. Well, England bowling, I should say, to the New Zealand batters. They've got to get 8.35 runs per over. It's a bit of a tall order. And that's Guptill immediately launching into a first ball 4 off Wokes. See, Guptill's very capable. Butler did okay, but Guptill will actually keep going. Just look at what England away. They know what they've got to get now. They know what they've got to do. The ball didn't quite go where it was supposed to. Yeah, it did swing away. It works. Well, he's not bowling well, is he, Richard? He's making comment of it. Oops, hello. I spoke a ball too early. Guptill, third ball. Oops, oops, oops. Well, that's a pretty bad start. Guptill's an important part of the batting lineup. He's out third ball for 4. That's not a good start. Yep. There's 1. So England were 4 for 166 after the 20, and New Zealand is 1 for 4 off 1 over. And this Kane Williamson is already in. Guptill's gone very cheaply early. Jason Boy gleefully was up there. All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. All right, I'll see you later. Looking like you'd have to argue that Woke's just about to finish his first over. We'll see if he can roll 2 more balls, then we'll finish up. We'll beat the bat there from Williamson goes. That's it for New Zealand. Ooh. Too much dabbling going on there. All right, so that's 1 for 8 off the first over. Well, guys, I think I'm going to have to give it. Says one. Okay, so all the best. See you tomorrow.